Take a standard insulated wire, connect it to an AC power source, and loop a light bulb into the circuit. When the current flows, the bulb glows brightly. Now, keep the exact same setup. Don't add any resistors, and don't change the power source. But this time, take that straight length of wire and wind it into a tightly packed coil. The visual result is immediate. The bulb starts dimming. The physical geometry of the wire alone is somehow restricting the flow of electricity. Let's look at the numbers behind this. Ohm's law dictates that if you have a 12-volt battery and a 6-ohm circuit, you will get exactly 2 amps of current. But in physics, a value cannot leap from 0 to 2 amps in exactly 0 seconds. That requires a perfectly instantaneous jump, which is physically impossible. Instead of an instant jump, the coiled shape actively fights the battery. It forces the current to slow down and take time to reach its maximum. The wire has developed a kind of electrical inertia. To understand exactly how the coil fights the battery, we need to dilate time. Let's isolate the precise fraction of a millisecond immediately after the circuit is closed and the current begins its initial push. As the initial current flows through the curved geometry of the wire, it immediately generates an internal magnetic field. Because the current is actively growing from 0 toward its peak, the magnetic field it creates is not static. It is rapidly expanding in strength. When these expanding field lines actively cross through the physical cross-sectional area of the coil itself, we call it magnetic flux. According to Faraday's second law of induction, a rapidly changing magnetic flux induces a brand new invisible electromotive force, an internal voltage, directly inside the wire. So the very act of turning on the power forces the coil's geometry to generate its own internal voltage out of thin air. This new voltage operates under a strict physical constraint defined by Lenz's law. The induced voltage must perfectly oppose the original cause that created it. The original cause is the growing current from the battery. Therefore, the coil generates what we call a back EMF, a reverse voltage that literally fights the battery's push. This split-screen chart illustrates the battle. In the very first instant, the battery pushes forward with 5 volts, and the coil pushes back with a back EMF of exactly 5 volts. They completely cancel each other out, resulting in a net current of 0. Tracking the current on this line graph over time, we see the battery relentlessly pushing and finally overpowering the coil. The current starts to grow, but the curved line reveals that its rate of growth gets progressively slower. Think of a mathematical series where you add halves together. 1 plus a half plus a quarter plus an eighth. You get continuously closer to your target, but you never abruptly hit it. This graph shows the current asymptotically approaching its limit, constantly restricted from instantly reaching maximum flow. We represent this physical resistance with the formula E equals -L times dI over dt. That single negative sign is the literal mathematical proof of the coil fighting back. The physical variable L stands for self-inductance. It mathematically represents the exact numerical value of this internal opposing force, proving that a mathematical sign dictates a hard physical speed limit on electric current. Ultimately, self-induction acts as a strict physical buffer. By forcing current to ramp up slowly, it prevents sudden destructive spikes in an electrical circuit. Engineers actively exploit this behavior. They build specific components called inductors, or chokes, relying on exactly this coil geometry to protect sensitive electronics. Now, let's take everything we just covered and look back at our first experiment. If we took that exact same coiled wire and replaced the AC power with a pure DC source, like a standard battery, what would happen to the light bulb? Would it stay dim forever, or would it eventually reach full brightness? Remember how a steady current affects magnetic flux over time. Drop your answer and defend your logic in the comments below. And make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our next video.